come take a look at what we're doing. He kept saying, no, no, no. She finally said, if you don't come look, we're not buying furniture from you ever again. And so she even said, bring a friend with you. So they came to the meeting. He was not at all excited. As soon as it was over, he left. She called him the next day. He said, listen, I did what you said. I came, but I'm not interested. She said, well, me and Chris are going to go talk to the friend because he gave us your card. She said, okay. He said, okay, I don't care. So we went and shared it with his friend, and he was jacked up, ready to go. And we called him back real quick. Are you sure? He said, no, I don't want any part of it. And so we put that gentleman in the business. And all he's done is gone on to make $1 million and become a national consultant. That's Near Golan. But you know what Near did is Near sponsored a lady named Leslie Miller. And Leslie wasn't real interested because her husband was making $1 million a year in his day job. But she finally realized she didn't have her own money. She'd been a housewife all her life, so she got jacked up, and so she started to build a business. And she sponsored a lady named Christine Henry, and Christine Henry went out and sponsored a lady named Lisa Boletto, and Lisa Boletto went out and sponsored someone who I don't know, who went out and sponsored someone I don't know, who went out and sponsored someone I don't know, who went out and sponsored a guy named Bendo, who sponsored Gary, and now we just got a new senior consultant in Dallas, Texas. You see, you never know what's going to lead you to what. Just like after Debbie heard no, 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 no for 5 months before she finally sponsored national consultant, millionaire, Pastor Kenny Smith. And then Kenny joins the business, and Kenny sponsors one, that sponsors one, that sponsors one, that sponsored a financial guy, that sponsored Chuck Chance. You know, you just never know who's going to lead you to the next executive that's been emceeing Power Trip since the day Power Trip started. And I was at that one, and I remember Chuck just cutting it up. And then Brian getting on stage after 5 minutes of Chuck cutting it up and said, I got an idea. Chuck, you're going to do this forever. And he has. You know? You just never know where your life is going to take you. Because you see what Near Golan also did is he sponsored a lady named Monica, which none of you have ever met. You've never met senior consultant Monica out of League City, Texas. But Monica sponsored a friend of hers that some of you have only met if you ever go to Ambition, a guy named Phil Toller. And then Phil Toller turned around and sponsored a person named Sue Tombrella. And then Sue Tombrella turned around and sponsored a guy named Ron Jenkins, who's earned over $1 million. And Ron Jenkins turned around and sponsored a guy named Mike Bauer, who none of you have ever met. And you probably never will, but next year, not this year, next year he'll get his yellow jacket for earning over $1 million. Mike Bauer lives about 10 minutes from me. But then his grandmother passed away, so he flew up to East Otto, New York, and sponsored a cop that was already working 100 hours a week named Tim Ollinger. And from that line came $1 Million National Tim Ollinger, Masons, and Greg and Beth Corsell. And Ambition of 19 will bring our third senior consultant who's earned over $1 million. I mean, you just never know what's going to happen. But if you stay private and secret about your business, I can guarantee you one thing. 18 will be just like 17 was. You can't be private. You got to share this information with as many people as you can. I just want to help you with your vision. Because when they shared this with us, that's the only place that we were doing business. That was it. When I came up here to Dallas, I went to the corporate office. Brian had a little whiteboard, and he drew the compensation plan out. And then they invited us to the one meeting that Ambit was doing. It was at a local hotel on the 22nd floor. And me and Eddie Routon went up there, and we watched the presentation, and then we got in the truck as fast as we could so we could go home. And I borrowed the money the next day, and 5 days or 7 days later became a senior consultant, and then I started my very first meeting. That was the first meeting in Ambit Energy outside of Dallas. But that's the only place that we could do business. And then, you know, almost a year later, they opened up New York City only. And then a year later, they opened up Chicago, just the outskirts of Chicago, just for gas. But when you guys are looking at this, I mean, not only are we in 16 states with more to come, but you're also in Japan and Canada with more to come there real soon. I don't know if you understand of just when you're finding out about this. And sometimes people say, well, if I would have seen it when you'd know, most people wouldn't have made it. I don't know how many of you could have made it through building it in 2008 in Texas when the rates were 42 cents a kilowatt. How many of you would have gone out to your neighbor and said, how would you like to pay 42 cents for your electricity service? Would you guys have been happy about that? Okay, it was tough when the wheels were falling off, not because of Ambit, but because of just life and what was happening. Gas prices were almost $5 a gallon. We had record heat 47 days in a row of over 100 degrees. Life just wasn't working out. But you guys do know that more is coming, right? You guys know that some of our corporate people have been traveling around the world. You do know that, right? Okay. Y'all want to know where we're going? It's somewhere on that map. Okay? I can promise you that. It's somewhere on that map. And it's coming sooner than any of us think. But listen, you know, Ward shared it with you earlier this morning, if you could see it through his eyes, of just everything's in place. I mean, you got the videos and you got the proof. So if we're ever here to believe in anything, it's you. That's the only thing left for any of us to believe in is you. And the only way you're ever going to believe in you is if you start to change your dream. I don't know if you want the pressure, but I want to share it with you anyway. Ambit's future is not up to me. It's not up to the Baffonis. It's not up to Mr. Perez. It's not up to all the great hosts that you have here, from Chuck to Jarrad and Doug. Ambit's future is up to you. You're the ones. Collectively, if you would do some simple things, it'll start to change everything. I mean, I heard some cool testimonials from RCs that want to become nationals. Hey, that's great. But if you mean it, you have to start sponsoring at least 2 people per week every week. Not per year, not per month. You got to start personally sponsoring 2 people per week to start to find the numbers in your favor to make things to begin to happen. And let's remember, it's just $100. When I got started, I called my sponsor. I said, what do I do? He said, go sponsor 3 people tomorrow and then give me a call. And he hung up. So the next day I went out and found 3 people who would spend $458 to a guy in a white t-shirt, tennis shoes, and dead blue jeans. If I can do it, you can do it. I know you can. But the key is, if you want to know the secret, the key is always remembering to get a check every single Friday. Do we have any ECs in the room? I want to show the EC something simple to do. They shared with you earlier when Doug was talking that it takes 5 seniors. It takes 5 seniors to go executive, correct? To take you from EC to NC. Is that what you guys did, Sonia? You got 5 ECs in your EC code, and that's how you went national? Okay. So as an EC, that's going to be your goal, is to go national, which means you have to have people become seniors. So do you think, as a senior consultant, any seniors in the room? Do you think it's possible for you to sponsor somebody tomorrow? Yes. See, what I would have been saying is only one? You know, I mean, come on, it's $100. You're a senior consultant. It's double bonuses. You're going to make $470 from getting somebody to spend $100. Does that excite you a little bit? Yes or yes? So can you sponsor one on Monday? And then if you can keep life simple, not difficult, but simple. In other words, stop all this one-on-one training you're doing with people. Don't ever do that again. They don't need to know nothing. I believe that we teach people on the need-to-know basis. A brand new consultant don't need to know crap. They just need to make an invitation call to put somebody in front of you. That's all they need to know. Remember, the second somebody joins, they're also 1 second closer to quitting. So you want them to leave you something behind for you and your family, for your legacy. We're not worried about theirs yet. They got to show you something to make it about theirs. Let's keep this about you. So executive consultants, you got your 5 seniors you're working with. Let's help all of them sponsor one on Monday. Now, you're the senior. You're the leader. You need to work with that one person and get them to sponsor somebody on Tuesday. Let's repeat that on Wednesday. Let's keep it true on Thursday. Friday. Let's just do that every day of the week. I just want to show you how simple this is for an executive consultant to earn $3,000 every single Friday, and all you're doing is calling 5 seniors every morning and helping them to grow their business by 1. That's all this takes, and you're earning almost $3,000 every single Friday. Any seniors in the room again? Would you guys like to make that? Well, you can, and you don't have to change anything. Because all you have to do is have some regionals in your organization. And you're just teaching them the same exact thing. And as you teach your regionals to sponsor one on Monday and help them repeat it on Tuesday and help them do the same on Wednesday and every single day of the week, guess what? That's still $2,800 to you, senior consultants, every single Friday. Would that change your life? Yes or yes? Then let's keep everything that we do simple. If you want to know the secret is you. Here's why people are scared to go take this to their friends and neighbors, their coworkers and their relatives. They're scared because they already know you. That's what you're thinking. Oh my God, they already know me. There is no way I'm going to go share this with them. I'm going to challenge you to go show them what they don't know about you. That's what I want to do. I want you to go share with them what they don't know about you. I'm going to leave you guys with an assignment because I have some very simple beliefs. I believe I'm not looking for my next customer. I'm not